Hi guys, it's Kat from Perfectly Imperfect Crafts. I am here to do a tutorial with you on how I make a junk journal. So I'm going to give you the first two measurements of the things you'll need, and that is 2 pieces of chipboard measuring 8.5 by 5 3/4 and 1 piece at 8.5 by 1.5 because it's going to have about a 1.5 inch spine. So I've already cut those down in my spine. So now we need to take cardstock and we're going to connect it together because this is 8.5 by 8.5. And what we want to do is set it out, see how we're doing it, because you're going to have a glued piece. So we have plenty of room there. So we're going to, not glued, we're going to use a piece of double-sided tape, real thin one. Get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And we're just going to start in the corner and we're going to go all the way down the side on the 11-inch side of the piece of cardstock. And then we're going to take a bone folder and make sure we varnish that down really, really well because we don't want it coming up. And then we'll pull the backing off. And you're going to take your other piece of cardstock and you're going to start it right, and I'm shaking a little bit, sorry, right at that corner as well. And you're going to place it down so that we've extended our cardstock. So now we have this much space all around it. And you can use that same tape to put between these spine edges, but we want to measure up about 1 inch. And draw us a line so we have a straight edge to go from, and then also a straight edge here on the side. Just helps to line up your piece so that it goes straight. You don't have to do all 4 sides. Some people do, I don't. And you're going to fit your pieces onto there, lining them up. Lost my tape. And you're going to use this tape. This is about a 1/4 inch wide, I believe. Yep, 1/4 inch wide tape. As I shuffled that about. The one thing you want to make sure you do is not put your needle through this because it will gum up your needle really, really badly. And to put our spine down. My spine's gaps over that just a hair. This edge is actually going to be on the spine because we are going to cover that up with some lace or fabric or something when we get to that point of decorating. And start there. Put another piece down. Just tore that. Now you can use double-sided tape to adhere the spine and all that down. I do not do that. Let's see, we have 1.5 inches in the middle. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take my spine because that's the first thing I want down. If my spine is even, then I know I can get, oh, sorry, everything else even. I'm just covering it in art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue it into position. Because the art glitter glue will dry really, really quickly. Very little time to move it around. Let me just make sure it has good coverage. And then we're going to do the same on this piece, which is get all the edges really good. And then set it into place. Just making sure you get your edge lined up. Like I said, you don't have a lot of time to move it around. Gotta bring it up, it's a little off. Okay. We need to get this pulled off of here before we forget. It's stuck under the edge a little bit of the other one, but it'll be okay. You can leave them on there, you don't even have to remove them all. So we'll remove. And if anybody's watched me for very long, they know I'm not a perfectionist. Sorry, my little mat that I'm working on wants to move on me. I love it though because it's non-stick. And it looks like I'm putting a lot of glue, but it's really not. Okay, so with the same amount of space between our spine and a ruler will help you do that. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to use a bone folder to make sure that it's all adhered to our cover. Okay, so we have about an inch here. We need about an inch here as well on this side. So where did my pencil go? Goodness, I really just had it. Let's use this one. Draw us a line there so I know where to cut it off at. Only I could lose the pencil that fast. I don't know where the heck it went to. Just line that up. It's a little more than an inch. There we go. Cut that off. There we go. There we have our start of our book. And we are going to angle our edges. So if we draw again, our line, we know where to cut. You want it just a hair past the edge of your book. I'm trying to make this as simple. I don't really do this part myself every time because I'm used to it, but if you've never made one, this will help you get your angles right. I did it when I first started making junk journals. So you're just cutting it off. They're mitering the edges. I'm going to put book corners on this when I'm done with it, so any little imperfections will be hidden in those mitered edges with the book corners rather. Okay, so this is what your book will look like now. And I take it and I just start making the cardstock start to shape with my hand around the edges of the book so that it doesn't crack. See? Same here. Because if you don't do this step, it can crack on you. This is 110-pound cardstock, and it is from Parkland, so it is very, very thick. It's not like the 110-pound Georgia Pacific that you get at Walmart. It is very, very thick. Okay. I'm going to leave that in that position for a moment because I need to get my Tyvek, which you can buy it in a get it at the post office when you get their priority envelopes, or you can get it online in 8.5 by 11 sheets on eBay. I even found it at Walmart back where their mailing envelopes are, in a pack of 3 that you can cut down. So just put some glue on the back of the Tyvek. And glue that into position. And my bone folder. And I start working it into the crevice here because I want this to help protect my spine and strengthen my spine because it isn't does not tear like paper does. See how it's adhering to excuse me, the paper where we put that double-sided tape in there. It's adhering to that, and your spine will still lay kind of flat. You want to work it so that it doesn't have the tendency to break. And I flip it over and I start using my bone folder in there to get my spine edges. It takes patience. It's kind of therapeutic. So we have our spine. And now we're going to start gluing. I have them in frame. This thing is driving me crazy because it keeps moving. But if I don't have it on there, you'll be blinded by my black desk and the light above. So. Okay, so we're going to glue the first piece you could actually use the double-sided tape here too. I just prefer glue. Just start working that down. Hold it in place. Put a little bit of glue under here. Sometimes it's hard to get it to stick to the Tyvek. Baby wipe. Of course, when you went them, you can't get a hold of them. Okay, so a little bit of spillage of glue there. Just wipe it off. I'm just holding that down so it can adhere. And you're going to put more paper over the inside of this, so it will be very secure. This is just my base layer. And there'll be more, like I said, because you're going to decorate it. I'm going to ink this up. I'll decorate it. I'll do all kinds of things to it. You can miter those corners a little less than this if you don't like, if you want them to actually meet up. I did better on this end than I did this end. But it's all going to be covered, so it's not a catastrophe if they don't line up perfectly there. If you're OCD, it might bug you though. I, however, am not a perfectionist. Okay, let's fold that one in. This cardstock is so thick, sometimes it's hard to get it to bend exactly how you want it to bend. Okay, so now into that crevice. And if I knew how to do the music and the voiceover and all that, I probably would do so now, so you don't have to do listen to the tedious part. That looks good. Get this one glued. And this book will have a hidden signature, which means I will not be sewing through the actual spine of the book. So when we get to that point, we can decorate the spine. Sorry for the noise in the background. My phone. Okay, so there we have our basic cover, a 1.5 inch spine. Clean these edges up a little bit here. Don't want to do it too much because it will, it can rip. So I haven't decided what if I'm gonna put more white cardstock on the inside, or, which I probably will, just to make sure it's cohesive. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And this one will have to be pieced as well. So our measurements was 5 3/4, so let's take this to 5 5/8. We need to take about 1/8 of an inch off the top. Just because we want it to fit within the perimeters of the page. So we'll go ahead and glue that down to the inside back there. And I hope this isn't too long of a video. It takes forever for me to upload a video. So I'm going to do this all in different stages. Guess I could have done it live and uploaded it. Probably would have been better. Okay. Now see, I didn't put anything here because I'm going to put what I sew my signatures into in the middle there. And this one's just a little bit shorter, but again, they're going to overlap, so it will be okay. As I throw the paper. I love these little bottles, but I hate that little dangly thing that covers it up. Okay, so put this as close to the edges as I can. Where that came from. So now here's where you can cover this with fabric if you want, because you have a good base here. It's very strong. And I'm going to stop the camera here and we'll pick up for the next video on decorating and putting the book corners on.